Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, we'll take a look back at some of the top stories that made 2017 unforgettable.
From dozens of new restaurants opening their doors across the city,
to the Torrance Transit launching their new user-friendly app,
to ribbon cuttings, holiday celebrations, milestone birthdays, and groundbreakings.
We got a great show for you today.
It's the end of the year holiday look back,
and it begins right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chen.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks so much for joining us on this special holiday episode where we look back at some of the top stories that made 2017 a year to remember. Torrance Police Department began fighting crime with technology this year. New camera systems were installed throughout the city that has helped in identifying dozens of stolen vehicles. The new automated license plate recognition systems, also known as ALPRs, were installed this year. So far, there are 40 cameras located in the city with an additional 16 cameras mounted on vehicles. The system assists in detecting license plates of vehicles that may be related to stolen, wanted, or other cars of interest. Law enforcement agencies throughout the nation and around the world are increasingly adopting them.
Riding public transportation is easier now than ever thanks to the launch of its new phone app designed to help riders get to their destination on time with real-time updates. Transit also updated signage at all of their bus stops.
One of the big frustrations for bus riders and would-be riders is just not knowing when a bus will arrive. But a new app called the Transit app eliminates that frustration, says James Lee with Torrance Transit.
This application actually gives real-time bus information, so when a patron is at a bus stop, rather than trying to guess when the bus may arrive or going by a paper schedule, they can pull out their smartphone. By using the application, they can then see the actual time that the vehicle will arrive at that stop.
Members of the Torrance Women's Club were given a demonstration of the app during a ride to the harbor. It's easy to use after you download it, says David Mock with Torrance Transit. The app tells you where the nearest bus stop is located and how many buses are on the way.
It uses your GPS location and it'll identify where you are located. And based on your location, it'll tell you where all the bus routes that will service this stop.
But the app isn't the only change to the system. New signs are going up at bus stops. They tell you what bus or buses serve each stop. They also have numbers so you can get a text on the next arrival.
It changes based on traffic conditions and based on any unforeseeable conditions that are happening on the street right now.
And with real-time information available either through the app or the new bus signs, Torrance residents say they're glad that means less time waiting on the bench.
I think it's a great idea. I've never really wanted to ride the bus because I didn't know where it was going or what time it would, to come back.
Oh, I think it's great. What I'm going to do is my daughter uses the buses all the time, and I'm going to tell her about it.
You can also use the app on other bus lines, including Beach Cities and Metro, as well as Uber or Lyft. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Edward Mertz.
You can download the app for free from the Apple and Google Play stores. Torrance Transit sees nearly 4 million riders a year.
Speaking of transit, it was definitely a year to remember through their department as they reached another milestone. They launched the expansion of Line 4. It allows commuters to travel to more locations across Los Angeles. Other city departments came out for the special ribbon-cutting ceremony for what is now called Line 4X.
Torrance unveiled some good news recently for its transit bus riders.
Hoping to expand service on the Line 4, Torrance Transit applied for and was generously awarded funding by Metro and the Net Toll Revenue Reinvestment Grant Program to add more buses to the route, develop bidirectional service on weekdays, and create new service on Saturdays.
Riders will have easier access to downtown Los Angeles. One of the most important aspects of the 4X line, which starts on October 2nd, was the input of the ride and what improvements could be made to better serve its community.
We are proud to enhance and expand our Line 4X service based upon their comments, their input, and direction. They told us what they wanted, how to improve Line 4. We heard them, and therefore we give you the new Line 4 Express.
Keeping Torrance accessible for the over 56,000 total annual riders is what helps the city blossom for both business and tourism.
This will help improve the city because it'll provide greater mobility for our residents. It will give them opportunity to utilize our service to go places that they wouldn't had we not expanded the service. So again, it provides a way to get out, improve the quality of life. A lot of our seniors like to go downtown to Olivera Street and different places. This service will allow them to do that now.
The new 4X expansion is keeping Torrance connected with the Southland, and it's just another demonstration of how Torrance is living up to its hashtag, Torrance at Work. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Abby Grimion.
To learn more about Line 4X, go to transit.torranceca.gov.
2017 was also a year of improvements at the Torrance Airport. They renovated its small runway and added official names to 21 hangar rows, 2 gates, and 1 viewing deck. Different areas are now named after people, places, or businesses related to local aviation history, a project that hoped to add more character to the airport.
It was a historic day at Torrance Airport as new signage was unveiled commemorating the greats of aviation history that have all made their mark in Torrance. But this day wasn't without a little humor.
I think the hard work that they put on this project, see, there wouldn't be an airport if you weren't interrupted by your speech with the sound of airplane engines.
The ceremony celebrated the end of a 2.5-year project of collaboration between the Torrance Airport Association, Torrance City Council, and the Airport Commission. A name selection committee was formed by the Airport Commission to develop the criteria for qualification to have their name on an airport hangar row. The celebration of history and the new signage was truly significant for Torrance Airport. Shant Mercadichian, the facilities operations manager at Torrance Airport, told us why the new signage is a great addition.
It's been nice because, the hangars and the airport's obviously been here for many, many years, and this is a way to honor those people and places and businesses that really had a big contribution to the city and to the airport. And it's just paying homage to those folks that have really been part of our history.
Notable rows included the P-38 Lightning Row, the Bob Hoover Row, and Frank Robertson Row. But the star of the ceremonies was 96-year-old Iris Critchell, a pioneer in women's aviation at Torrance Airport. Critchell was a member of the Women's Air Force service pilots in World War II and was assigned to the 6th Ferrying Group out of Long Beach, which Torrance Airport fell under. Critchell was approved to fly on 18 different forms of aircraft across the United States to transport planes flown in the war to their final American destinations. She also trained hundreds of pilots how to fly during World War II and continued to teach students how to fly after the end of the war until her retirement in 1990. How do you feel about having lucky number 13 named after you?
Isn't that a thrill? I never dreamed this would be possible, but I was aware of that hangar row for many years, and I'm very proud to have my name down there with all those wonderful people.
As for her favorite memory at Torrance Airport,
well, I had my engine failure at north of here or over the oil tanks, and I was rather close, and I was able to come right into Torrance Airport from the north side and make a necessary emergency landing when an engine quit.
And Critchell, along with many other aviation legends, will forever be remembered as the rich history will always hang proud at Torrance Airport. Standing on the shoulders of giants, pilots now can pay homage to the rich history of aviation here in Torrance. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Abby Grimion.
Another legend was honored in the city of Torrance this year. Torrance hometown hero Louie Zamperini received tribute on a stretch of the 405 freeway. The Louie Zamperini Memorial Highway sign now sits between Redondo Beach Boulevard and Western Avenue. It was a community effort to remember the World War II hero. Also, the Torrance Historical Society and Museum welcomed back one of Zamperini's iconic jackets.
U.S. Air Force Commander of the 307th Bomb Wing, Colonel Bruce Cox traveled thousands of miles from Louisiana to hand-deliver a historical artifact belonging to Torrance's hometown hero, Louie Zamperini.
Pleasure to meet you. Okay, meet you. Pretty good.
But it was no ordinary visit. Thanks to the Torrance Historical Society and Museum, Cox received a surprise as he met Luke Zamperini for the very first time. And together, they got a chance to stroll down memory lane, remembering a World War II hero.
Well, this is my father's flight jacket during World War II when he was a bombardier in the Pacific. And, this was, hanging in my closet when I was a kid growing up, so I used to wear it all the time.
The jacket is part of Zamperini's exhibit in Old Torrance. And for the past month, Colonel had the chance to take it on a journey as he attended the 75th anniversary of the 307th Bomb Wing and an Air Force Global Conference, where Zamperini's jacket was a symbol of hope and inspiration for former and current serving members.
That was a result of the kindness of the Torrance Historical Museum Society. We contacted them and asked if they would consider loaning us an artifact that we could go tell the story for the Zamperini story, and they chose the jacket, which turned out to be just a tremendous story piece.
Zamperini, an American hero, attended Torrance High and was a track star who competed in the 1936 Olympic Games. Zamperini enlisted in the United States Army Air Corps in 1941. Today, he is also remembered for his story of resilience as a World War II survivor.
I just today found, or last night when I got in, when I was unpacking your suitcase, I found the clip of the last entry of his journal. I did not know it was in there until today, or last night. So imagine me, I put my head on the pillow, that was the last thing I read last night.
Zamperini died in 2014, but his legacy lives on.
And as an American airman, I can just say that I'm incredibly proud to stand on the shoulders of such a man as Louie Zamperini. Using his story to really motivate and inspire those that are choosing to serve in our Air Force today, gives them the opportunity to learn about his service, sacrifice, and resiliency that defines really the Air Force and the airmen of today. So,
for Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Jessie Pierre.
You can visit the Torrance Historical Society and see the jacket at 1345 Post Avenue.
Another highlight to remember was the city of Torrance receiving a rose named after it, gifted by the president of the American Rose Society. This was a special breed planted near City Hall for the public to see. The beautiful orange and pink mini flora was specially grown in Brighton, Tennessee. The Torrance Rose came about after a member from the American Rose Society helped partner the organization with the Torrance Rose Float Association. Now, the rose also celebrates the American Rose Society's 125th birthday. For the first time this year, members from the society will decorate the Torrance Rose Float and also take a ride on Parade Day. The last time a rose was named after a city in relation with the society was in 1974 when Cordes Roses of Germany gave members of the American Rose Society a rose named Shreveport, where the society is nationally headquartered. The rose is currently planted at the Rose Garden near City Hall.
And speaking of fresh flowers, Jen, the Torrance Certified Farmers Market implemented a new vendor layout. Staff collaborated with the Community Development Department to develop a new vendor zone layout that would maximize space, provide better customer flow and safety. The new space also created a public information demonstration area for educational events and special opportunities. It eliminated vendor vehicles from parking behind their booths. Security cameras were also installed. The Torrance Farmers Market is open, rain or shine, every Tuesday and Saturday.
And speaking of food, 2017 brought more flavorful tastes to the city. Chado Tea Room brought its eclectic array of international teas to downtown Torrance. Then Shinsen Gumi opened its doors, offering diners in a hurry a drive-through option when picking up food to go. And speaking of food from Japan, Miyabi Uni is now offering a Japanese fine dining experience. They are known for their sea urchin dishes along with other traditional Japanese meals. Then a new Mexican restaurant called Madre, also calling downtown Torrance their new home. Near there, you'll find Local Kitchen and American Tavern, which opened its doors in 2017, bringing comfort food and a hometown feel to its customers. There's also a lot of action happening on the boulevard. Press Juicery opened and the announcement of EMC Seafood was made. Also, to satisfy your sweet tooth, Honey Me is now serving up creamy ice cream inside the mall.
And besides satisfying your taste buds, this year also brought a wide range of new businesses to Torrance. Popular sporting goods store Dick's opened at the Del Amo Fashion Center, making it the first in the city and the 10th in the Los Angeles area. Then, after months of construction, Ganal Lumber officially opened to the public with its 18 acres of pro-quality lumber and building supplies. Another first for Torrance, a tattoo parlor opened in the city called Black Raven Tattoo. And the first of its kind 24/7 high-tech animal hospital opened at a larger location in the city. Other highlights included local hair salon Ziva, Samuel's Jewelry on the boulevard, consignment store Clothes Mentor, and a one-of-a-kind company called Finn, making sure people are not wasting water in their homes.
The company called Finn is in the final stages of testing a product which measures how much water is leaking in your home. It's estimated that every year over 1 trillion gallons of water leaks out of homes in North America. Reducing that amount could be as easy as installing a device in your kitchen sink, says Finn CEO Ryan Kim.
That one device now listens and is able to detect the minutest pressure changes in your entire plumbing system. All of that plumbing, cold water, hot water, is all connected. And a vibration in one part of the plumbing resonates through the entire pipe system.
And he says those vibrations can be identified.
And when we start to listen that carefully, we start to recognize patterns. So we can tell when a toilet is flushing or something that is just a higher leak event where we think, hey, if we let this continue any longer, it's going to cause damage to your property. Then instead of waiting for you to respond, because maybe you're not with your phone, you're in a crowded space, you can't hear it, the system has the intelligence to automatically shut the water off.
And knowing what's going on in your pipes can challenge you to save water, says Torrance resident Scott Chalmers, who signed up to have his home used in the testing.
You actually can see, graphically what your water usage is, and you can see certain spikes and things, and then when those spikes occur, you can, figure out what those are.
Finn says its testing is expected to take up to a year before the company is ready to sell its water monitoring systems. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Edward Mertz.
This year was a very big milestone for one Torrance resident who let us celebrate his 100th birthday. He is one of Torrance's longest-standing residents.
The mood at the San Franciscan was full of joy and love as families gathered from across the West to celebrate Clarence Johnson, who just reached a milestone birthday.
I think it's amazing. I mean, to live 100 years, really? How often does that happen? That's just incredible. All those years and memories, and it's awesome.
But the story of Clarence and his love for Torrance didn't originally start here. The journey began in 1936 in Arkansas, where a 19-year-old man decided to go west.
Went to Albuquerque and stayed 2 years. I went down to Texas and rode horse on a ranch for about 1.5 years. A couple introduced to my wife, and we got married, and that was it.
So when I asked him why he decided to settle in Torrance, the question was an easy one to answer.
For one thing, it's the best climate in the U.S., and I've been in all 50 states.
We talked about how much life has changed and how much is, oddly enough, still the same.
I've had about 50 jobs. I'd work long enough to learn how to do it, and then I'd go to another one. When I went to school in 1923, the first time I rode a horse to school.
And Clarence traded in one horse for another kind. It's made him notable around town. I hear that you drive a black Mustang.
Yeah. Well, when my wife passed away, I had a family car, and I said, well, I'm going to buy me one what I want.
A beloved Ford fan, Clarence is known for his love of automotive.
We think we're going to get him to back off his driving. At 100, a little edgy there.
So when I asked him what the secret to living a long life was,
just to living right and not running over people and everything, you know what I mean? Not abuse people and be friendly with everybody.
And while he may be celebrating his 100th year on this earth, Clarence is ready to zoom into the next 100 years of life with headlights on his walker. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Abby Gruion.
Clarence is an honored veteran and spent nearly 30 years with ExxonMobil before retiring. He helped found the Elks Lodge in Torrance, where he is still an officer.
A special activity at Wilson Park also celebrated a historic moment. The Southern California Live Steamers Mini Railroad Track crowned their 500,000th rider in 2017. That's 500,000. After a few runs, the train made a stop, and the president of the Southern California Live Steamers gave the special honor to rider Gracie Chong. Balloons were brought out along with a special hat and shirt. Community Services Director John Jones was also there to recognize Chong. This is what Chong's mother had to say on that special day.
I knew about it when we started getting closer to the line, but then we figured it was people like behind us. But we knew it was going to be today because we got an inkling, but we didn't know. We're shocked.
The Southern California Live Steamers organization has 7,000 feet of tracks at Wilson Park. This year, they also celebrated their 75th Jubilee through a special excursion.
And there was one family in Torrance that also celebrated a historic moment in Torrance High School's history.
Thank you to my fellow classmates for an amazing 4 years. Congratulations, class of 2017. We finally did it.
A lot of pride at Torrance High School, where family and friends packed the stadium to cheer on the graduates. As they go forth to write their own stories, the newest Torrance alums carry with them a rich history. They're members of the 100th graduating class at Torrance High. Among them, Trevor Power, whose great-great-aunt Marguerite was one of 2 people in the first graduating class at Torrance High in 1918. Trevor's mom, Catherine, is from the Torrance High class of 1978.
It's just been an amazing journey for us through Torrance. I don't really know where Trevor's going to go in his life and where it's going to lead him. It could be that the tradition ends here, and we'd kind of hope that it doesn't, but we'll see. We can't leave Torrance. None of us have left Torrance. This is our home.
Trevor Power! Trevor Power isn't the only Torrance High School graduate to carry on a family tradition. His classmate Tyler McKee represents the 5th generation of his family to graduate from Torrance High. And his mom says they're very proud to be a part of the Torrance community.
It's about family, community, being a part of something bigger, being able to give back to the community. We try to do that as a family.
And the idea of family was stressed to the new grads, who were encouraged to remember their alma mater by returning to Torrance High School to thank their teachers after they've become a success. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Edward Mertz.
It was also Torrance High School's centennial year.
Then, for the first time, local students took part in a one-of-a-kind event that put their engineering skills to the test, and you can say some made a splash. 10 female teams built their own cardboard boats in hopes of making it to the end of the plunge pool. The Cardboard Regatta Challenge gave 47 Madrona Middle School and Torrance High School female students the chance to work together to solve, design, build, and test their concepts. The big challenge was to make sure their cardboard boat would hold the weight of the team members and successfully sail to the end of the pool. The fastest time went to Team Dory from Madrona Middle School, who came in at 52 seconds. The boats were designed only with cardboard and duct tape. The concept of the Cardboard Regatta dates back to 1962.
The Torrance Library rolled out a new educational tool in the hopes of making sure people get one step closer to achieving their personal goals. A program called Linda was launched this year. It gives anyone with a Torrance Library card an opportunity to use the learning platform that offers free courses in the fields of business, software, IT, media, and technology to help accomplish personal or professional goals. Now, this includes access of video libraries taught by industry experts, as well as more than 3,000 courses. It's a valuable asset for people looking to land a new job, get more skills, or just explore a new area of interest. To find out more information, go to library.torranceca.gov. Well, what an exciting, event-filled year 2017 has been. That does it for us here on This Week in Torrance. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Jin Chin.
And I'm Ben McCain. From all of us here at CitiCABLE, wishing you and your family a happy holiday.
All right,